Okay, in this class, we will start with the second part of Module 3. We are going to study about memory management. So, we are going to discuss about memory management. Okay, before starting with the exact topic, so we will try to understand the basics. So, when we write a program in a high level language, so basically we'll give this high level language to the compiler, right? So, what compiler will do? So, this compiler will convert this high level language to assembly language. So, it will convert high level language to assembly language, and later with the help of assembler, I'm going to write here. So with the help of assembler, and later on we'll be using linker and loader to execute that. So basically what will happen, so initially we'll write a programs in high level language, then this language will be given to the compiler will convert it into assembly language. So assembly language means what? Basically here we'll be having 3-line instructions. So we'll be having add some examples like add r0 comma something, we'll add something and we'll store in the registers. And similarly we have some examples like we have a subtract instruction, and similarly we have jump if non-zero, j and z. So like this we'll be having instructions. So here when we take a process, so process is nothing but a program that is under execution. So there will be some instructions, so like I0, I1, I2, so on up to IN. So when there is a process, there will be a number of instructions. So similarly these instructions will be allocated with the memory. Suppose assume I0 is allocated with 2 KB and I1 is allocated with 4 KB, so on. So basically what we will do, so initially the process will be in the secondary memory, then we will load that process from secondary memory to main memory. So now when process is there, that there will be a number of instructions, and the instructions will be assigned with some memory here. So like I0 is allocated with 2 KB and I1 is allocated with 4 KB. So similarly here we will be having address like 0, and then here 2 will be having 2 KB is there, then after 2 will 4 is there, next address will be 6. So there will be a relative address to each instructions. So here you can see I0 is allocated with 2 KB and next I1 is allocated with 4 KB. So next address will be, see, for initially we are starting with some base address, assume we are starting with 0, and then to complete I0 we need 2 KB, then the second address will be 2, then we have 4, 2 plus 4, 6. So these addresses are nothing but relative addresses, relative address. So these are also called as logical addresses. So why these are relative address? So initially we are starting with one particular address, and based on the memory allocated we are getting that sequence. So like 0 after 2, so because of 2 KB, then we have 4 KB, then 2 to 6. So these are called relative addresses. So when we load this particular process to main memory, so now initially the process was in a secondary memory. So now when we load this process from secondary memory to main memory, so when process comes here, so same process, here we have some instructions and some memory is allocated. Now here the process will be binded with some addresses here. So initially it is having a relative address. So now it is binded with some more addresses. So like let me clear the screen here. Okay, now you can see here. So here what will happen? So now assume that we have loaded the process to main memory. So as I said, it will be binded with some more address now. I0, I1, I1, I2, so on up to IN. So now here, so there will be some like base address. One example, let's suppose I0 is having, let us assume 52386. So if this is a base address for I0, so there is binded address. So already we know that there are relative address 0. So next address here you can see 0 to 2 is there. So we will add that. So next address will become 52388. So earlier it was 386. Basically what we are trying to do is we are trying to find absolute address. Alright, absolute address. So this can be found by adding base address plus logic address or relative address. So initially the first process will have a base address. Now here we'll assume that the first instruction of process is I0. So base address for I0 is 52386. So now we are going to add first initially plus 0, it will be same only 5386, and then for next instruction I1 we have relative address as 2. So now we need to add this relative or logical address to the base address. So then we can find a absolute address. So absolute address can be find using base address and logical address. We need to add both base address and logical address. So these are the basics we need to know before starting with. So I hope you are clear with these terminologies. So once again I will explain. So here it is very simple. See, when process is there, then there will be instructions. So as I said, assembly language we have instructions, right? So instructions are allotted with some memory, like here you can see 2 KB, 4 KB, and each instruction is associated with a relative address, which is also called as logical address. And then when process is in a main memory, so we can find the absolute address. So initially we'll be having base address, so we'll add logical address or relative address to the base address, so that we will get a absolute address. Okay, these are the basics. Let me clear this things. Okay, now coming to the memory management, there are mainly two types. I'll write in a shortcut. So memory management. So memory management can be done in two ways. So first one is by allocating memory continuously, so which is called as a contiguous memory allocation. So first one is contiguous memory allocation. So memory can be managed by allocating memory continuously, so which is called as a contiguous memory allocation. And then we have a non-contiguous memory allocation, same. So today's session will start with the first type, that is contiguous memory allocation. So here the main memory, so suppose this is our main memory. So this main memory will be divided into partitions which are called as a fragments. So it will be divided like this. So this main memory will be divided into fragments. So fragments. So once we study non-contiguous memory allocation, then we'll compare what is the difference between contiguous and non-contiguous memory allocation. So let us start with first with contiguous memory allocation. So remember, the main memory is divided into a fragment.